If you're looking to improve your gameplay as a phone player, you come to the right video. I want to give you guys some tips and some tricks that will help you as a phone player inside of this training grounds. All right. And so let's go ahead and talk about the tips and the tricks, man. But before we do that, man, make sure that you guys like this video, comment down below your favorite weapon. Let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to say is that I notice a lot of phone players, they do not have the ability to pre-aim. Okay. And what is pre-aiming? Pre-aiming is aiming down sight like this and not shooting, but waiting, but you are already prepared. And so a lot of phone players have that automatic shoot button where when they shoot, it just fires like that. And they can't just simply sit there and wait like this. And so you want to have your loadout or your layout. I'm sorry, you want to have your layout in a way where you have the shoot button available. All right, my shoot button is in the top right corner. Everything is kind of faded, but wherever you want to put your shoot button, wherever you can add it into your layout, make sure you add it and you can just pre-aim like this, looking freely without being able to shoot. A lot of phone players make this mistake and they do not have that ability. Being able to shoot and fire with the same button like that is okay, but having that ability to just aim down like this is very valuable because it can save you a lot of time, because shooting and firing like that is not as instant as when you're just shooting like this. You do that a lot faster. Okay. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about my next tip. The next tip that I would give phone players is, I see a lot of phone players doing this, especially beginners. They do this with their aim. They aim like, let me go over here. So this target right here, a lot of phone players aim at this target like this and turn. They're aiming like this and turn, instead of this white dot already being placed and aiming like this. That's a lot more effective because you're already on this target and you're shooting a lot faster. If you do this and drag, a lot of the times you're already dead. You may get 1 or 2 shots in, and with a little desync magic, it may look like you've taken out your enemy. However, your enemy has taken you out. And so you want to make sure that you have that white dot on your enemies, because that just makes it that much easier to not only track your enemies when they're strafing around and moving, it also helps you get that first shot off, because a lot of times the person who can get that first shot off wins that gunfight. The most accurate person usually is that person who has their white dot already aimed on them before they even start shooting. So that's a very important tip to keep in mind, and you want to make sure that you practice aiming with that white dot. Okay, it's very important that you do that. Another thing, and another mistake that I see a lot of phone players make, is their FOV. So let's go ahead and go to the settings. My FOV right now, I think, is 80. So if I go to basic and I scroll down, your FOV is here. And a lot of beginners don't even know what this is. So camera FOV and FOV. Okay. So if I turn this to 51, you'll notice that everything on my screen has gotten a lot bigger. Okay. And my sensitivity is now way too much. But you know, that's the effect. If you're changing your FOV, your sensitivity will not make any sense after that. Okay. But your FOV. So if you have a smaller device, or if you're somebody who has trouble seeing the enemy, you want to up your FOV some. If you have a trouble seeing the enemy, because a lot of the times people who are on iPad or tablet, they just have way more screen. So their vertical, like up and down screen room, is a lot more, so they can see at a wider range. Now, most phones are like 16:9 or either 16:10. So we have a little bit more real estate going left and right, because a lot of iPads are like straight up and down in like a square box. But at the same time, you do want to make sure that your FOV is correct, because that can affect your aim and affect your visibility. And if you don't see the enemy and you're just dying because somebody's shooting at you and you don't see him, how are you going to defend that? I'm just saying. It's something that you want to keep in mind. All right. And so you got to find a sweet spot. For me, it's 80-80. 80-80 is a good sweet spot for me. I debated about going back down to like 70 and 80, but somewhere in 70-80 is good for me. I have a Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, and so it's on the bigger size of phones. But everybody doesn't have a huge phone. Some people plan on very small phones, and so you probably want to be a little bit lower than me. I don't know exactly the right number, but you want to kind of play with it until you at a point where you can like see people out in the distance. If you can't see, like for example this right here, if you can't see that way over there, that thing right there. The SMG ain't made for that. I mean, but you can't see that right there. I just shot at that. If you can't see that, then you probably want to up your FOV. I mean, lower your FOV a little bit. That's just something that I wanted to throw out there, because I see a lot of people trying to max out their FOVs, and that is a mistake, because if you're on a small phone and you max out your FOV, you probably can't see unless you have like 20 zero vision or something crazy like that. All right, I'm just saying, because my vision isn't the best, and I'm all up like I'm looking directly to my phone like very, very closely, and sometimes it's even hard for me to see with an 80, but now I'm used to it. So that's that. But please check your FOVs. It's very important. So hopefully that those tips helped you. Check your FOV, pre-aim, put that aim button on, phone players, and make sure that you're aiming with this white dot first instead of doing like this and then sliding your aim over. Is very important. And also another tip that I can give is to invest in some thumb sleeves. If you can invest in some thumb sleeves, man, because they do help keep your aim very consistent. Because if your hands are like dry one day or not dry one day, that can be like different sensitivities, and that can throw your aim off. Some days you'll feel like you're on point, and some days you'll feel like you're not on point. Just a quick tip there. So if you enjoy these tips and you want to hear more, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Also leave a like on this video, comment down below, and let's have conversations about phone players. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.